All right, thank you so much, our viewers. And this time round,
Mhm.
we are going to look at climate. We're going to look at the weather patterns in other part of the world, as we've heard, and most of you who have read the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change report would understand that the issues of climate change
Yeah,
have become very topical across the globe. And today we are going to talk about Unfortunately, in Ghana, the situation is not different. If you go to
hmm,
the northern
okay.
part of the country, you realize that farmers are still
Yeah,
waiting for the rains to come. We are having intermittent rainfall, which is not helping the farmers to grow their crops, or some are yet even plow their lands to start growing their crops. So it is not something new here in Ghana, but in Iran, which most of you have not paid attention to, we just want to talk something brief about that. And I am here with, I'll be speaking to my very good friend in Iran, Sarah, who has been
yeah,
monitoring the situation in Iran, and he has actually done some bit of work for some other people across the globe. I've been reading his work on ResearchGate, where most researchers publish their research work,
yeah.
and I think that um, she would be able to provide us with a lot of information in Iran. So, briefly, Sarah, where exactly are you right now? And can you also introduce yourself, educational background, and what you do in Iran?
Yeah. Actually, I'm currently a consultant in weather forecasting and storm tracing. Also, I'm gonna develop a weather forecast application for the Middle East, uh, especially Iran. I have master degree in water and environmental engineering, focusing on drought, climate change, flood, and water scarcity. Because as you know, my country, Iran, maybe more than 80% of Iran is located in the arid and semi-arid zone. So we are suffering from water shortage. That's why, yeah, my area focused on mostly drought and water scarcity. And so,
So, for the purposes of our viewers who do not know Iran very well, can you describe the geographical location or the
yeah,
geographical background of Iran so that people will get
yeah.
to understand exactly where
Actually,
you're speaking from?
yeah, maybe the majority of people don't know about this truth. My country has high geological, climatic, biologic and cultural diversities, especially geological. For example, uh, um, South Ahvaz is the hottest city of the world, located in south of Iran. You know, Alborz Mountain and Zakros Mountain in west and north of Iran, experience below zero temperature in the summer, and a minus 20 or minus 30 in the winter. So yeah, we have so diversity here, and Iran is so ancient country, and of course Iran has only two lowlands in north and in south. And my city Ahvaz is located in Khuzestan province, and it's lowland, a plain in south. And maybe you don't know about our forests, like your country Ghana. You know, we have forests, very old forests in north of Iran. It is true that we have only seen dinosaurs in movies, but with just a few hour drive from Tehran, you can see forests in north of Iran near Caspian Sea. They are as old as dinosaurs, very old and ancient forests, and they are located in south of Caspian Sea. So yeah, we have different temperature at the same time, and it's really interesting. And Iran receives average 376 millimeters precipitation, sorry, per year. Of course, more than 20% of that, in near Caspian Sea, I mean north of Iran, and about 10% in west of Iran. And we have desert in central part of Iran. And maybe you have heard about Lut Desert.
Yeah.
It receives about around 70 centigrade in the summer. It's the hottest desert around the world, but no one lives there. No one lives there. It's just a desert.
Okay, so what is the size of that area? I mean, where you say no one lives there? Is it so big that, or is just a small location in Iran?
Yeah, it's just a small location near some cities, but as I think maybe NASA 2 years ago, delivered a report about the new temperature, and I have heard about 70 centigrade in the summer. Yeah.
So you also
you can
spoke
search
about
about it.
Yeah, you also spoke about the differences in temperature. In Ghana here, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, we have the northern sector and the southern sector, and
Uh-huh.
it's just the same thing. The temperatures are different, considering where I mean, depending on where you are coming from or where you are. Is it the same with Iran? How many? I mean, is the country divided into two, or it is divided into several parts where you have different temperatures?
Not maybe several. For example, the areas which are located in south and southeast of Iran, yeah, the temperature is high, and also central of Iran. And the area which are located in north, northeast, and northwest, and yeah, a little bit in the west, yeah, the temperature is okay, maybe around 30 centigrade or 32 in the summer. But in central Iran and south, yeah, temperature is more than 40. But yeah,
That's
we have diversity in the winter. For example,
okay.
some parts just get, um, uh, precipitation, and some area just get snow, and some parts of Iran didn't get anything. No rain. Yeah. For example, Lut Desert. Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean it doesn't get rain at all, or it has a particular period where the rains come. I mean, I visited Rajasthan state in India, where they have
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 months rainfall, something less than 500 millimeters, if I mind can recollect. I mean, something less than that. I can't remember the figure, but it was something around 500 millimeters of rainfall in a year. Though they
Mm-hmm.
have rainfall, it's an effective desert state where farmers and citizens have to manage, and so the government had to. The government and other organizations came together to construct what we call rainwater harvesting system for each household in Rajasthan state. I mean, some part of Rajasthan state, somewhere around Churu. And so, is it the case in places like yours where you've mentioned that they don't have rainfall? Is it that they don't have rainfall at all, or they have rainfall within certain months
Not
or in
not
certain months?
getting, or maybe less than 10 millimeters, not at all, just less than, yeah. Um, the location around Lut Desert, maybe about 10, only 10 millimeters, not more. Yeah. But there is not any citizen over
So,
there,
okay,
you
so
know.
you don't have people living there.
Hmm. Yeah, we don't have, because no one can live there because of the temperature, and there is no rain. They cannot do anything. For example, farmers, yeah, they need water to do and to plant. So yeah, and we have indoor migration from, for example, south of Iran or central of Iran to north or to west because of climate change and water shortage.
Mm. So,
It's a routine and normal event in Iran.
okay, Sarah, I want us to go a bit more scientific. What is the vegetation level of that particular area you've mentioned, and do you know the size of the place? What is the vegetation level? Do we have trees? Do we have animals? And how would you describe the biodiversity of that place?
Pardon, pardon me. Actually, I didn't get what
Yeah,
you said because there
I'm
was.
asking if we know the vegetation level in that particular location. Do we have trees? Do we have animals living there? And what is the state of the trees and animals, if you have an idea?
Oh my God.
So what I'm saying is
Hello.
that, hey, yeah, can you hear me, please? Hello, can you hear me?
Actually, I can't hear you. Do you hear me? I can't
Yeah.
hear you.
Yes, yes, I can hear you. I can hear you now. Can you hear
Hello.
me?
Hello.
Can you hear me, please?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
So check on
just
your. Let me
there are
just
lots of noise. I just hear some noise, not more. Oh my God.
okay. I've just sent you something. Just look at that.
Oh, hello. Pardon. I can't hear you.
Yes. Yeah. Hello. So Sarah, if you can hear me, just check
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. On
notify
WhatsApp.
you on something. I'm asking that. What is
Yeah.
the level? What is the vegetation level? What is the
Vegetation.
vegetation level in
Veget.
the
Uh-huh.
area? And vegetation. Okay, I'm talking about the vegetation
Uh,
cover
you,
and whether are they
mhm.
trees there, are they animals, and what is the state of
No,
these
actually,
animals
yeah,
and the
actually,
trees, if you have
mhm.
an idea.
Okay. So, actually, for example, my city, Ahvaz, is the capital of Khuzestan province in Iran. Khuzestan province, tolerates temperature more than 45 or 49, but it's one of the important area for agriculture in Iran, and maybe more than 60% of crops in Iran is produced in my province. Is the province I live in? Imagine. Of course, the weather is hot during summer, but the longest river of the country is located in my city, and there are lots of dams and the situation for agriculture and for planting is really good in the fall and also winter. Like
mm,
some crops like wheat, barley, rice, even rice. Imagine near my city, some people plant rice. Of course, they waste water, and
oh,
I'm so worried about it. But yeah, they plant rice.
mm,
Uh, of course,
great.
our government sometimes punish the farmers, but they do. Besides all the punishment, because they used to plant rice, no,
Okay.
since maybe 100 years ago. Say so they continue to plant rice and some crops that need very much water. What is okay here? We have several rivers, but the only problem is the temperature.
Mm,
Of course, the whole of country suffer from water shortage, but in my area and in our province, it's okay. And more than 70% of power is produced and is generated in my province. My province is so rich because of lots of oil wells, gas, and also power, water, and the only problem is temperature during summer. And also, we have lots of, you know, farms and, agricultural lands. And as I said before, more than 70% of crops is produced here. So we
okay.
don't
So
have
we
problem about vegetation and agricultural crops here. Yeah.
it is expected. I mean, once you have a very good flow of water, river there, it is expected that water bodies can neutralize some of these things by absorbing heat from the sun. But I'm just looking at my Google here. I'm looking at the weather situation in Iran right now, the temperature in Iran right now, especially, I mean, more specifically in your province, Khuzestan, and it's saying that 49 degrees Celsius as we speak now, and you have just 11% of chances of humidity, and then the wind too is, I mean, is it the case there right now?
Uh, Sorry, because I didn't get anything. So would you please write via WhatsApp?
I'm
I'm
talking.
very sorry, but
I'm
I
talking.
get
I'm
some noise.
talking. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry about that. But I'm just
Yeah.
trying to talk about this
Ah,
the temperature right now in Iran.
right.
Right now in
Uh,
Iran, how would you
ah,
describe the temperature right now in Iran?
uh, Sorry. Medium temperature, mean temperature in Iran. I didn't get, or the
I'm talking
temperature in my
temperature
city.
temperature in Khuzestan.
Oh yeah, yeah. Today we reached 50 centigrade. The whole of Khuzestan province reached 50, but we live here and we are happy.
50
So
50
you
degrees Celsius.
50, yeah, yeah, yeah. I can send you the record and you can search it weather.com.
Yes, I think
50,
I'm
and
seeing it here.
yeah, and it's so humid here. So the real feel is more than 50 because it's about 80% humid.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
There is the longest river of Iran is located in my city. So it's
hmm.
so humid during summer.
Okay.
Our city and the whole of province, just except northeast of our province, um, face a great heat during July, over 49 or maybe 50s and maybe more than 50 centigrade. And there is not any help from from the government offices, or maybe sometimes, yeah, the continuous heat caused the government offices to be closed, or their working hours have been reduced. Just that.
Because
And
because of the
so,
because of the
mhm,
heat.
yeah, just because of heat. And the level of humidity is also really high in most of the province. And yeah, when we experience the heat and the temperature over 50 centigrade, um, sometimes, yeah, the media asks us just stay at home, don't go out because, yeah, because of heat stroke and something like that. And from, for example, from the early hours of the afternoon, daily activity almost stop, and the people prepare to stay at home in front of air conditioner.
Hmm.
You can't see anyone on the street until around evening, for example, um, 8 p.m. Yeah, 8 p.m.
Okay.
We have
Okay.
nightlife. We have nightlife. And the heat of the air and cause our city be completely silent. And we start living from afternoon, from evening, when there is no sunrise, because under sun, and it's really really intolerable. For example,
Hmm.
today I went out because it was so necessary and urgent. After coming back home, um, I take shower twice, and we have power outage today. Imagine
Yes, I
80%
told you
humidity,
about
and
that.
the
Yeah.
temperature is 50. So it's such a hell. I think the hell is here. But yeah, we used to live here. We used to live here. For example, I can't live in someone which is so cool, because I used to live in that heat. I love it. Can you believe that?
That's
But I love this heat.
that, that, that
Be-
that's
because
that's
yeah.
amazing. That's amazing,
Mhm.
Sarah. But do you record any damages? If you go to India, there are some cases of heat waves in India. Do we have any of such case in Iran damages? I know you've sent something to the World Meteo Organization, pictures of damages caused to electrical gadgets, but I'm talking about human beings in this case. Do we have any cases of death as a result of the heat, sicknesses? I mean, an outbreak as a result of this the rising in temperature in Iran.
Sorry, I didn't get, but I think maybe you have heard about the damage, because there were lots of noise, but I just
Yes,
got,
exactly,
yeah, damage. Yeah, yeah. For
exactly. Yeah.
example, we have, yeah, there are electric meter fire. Electric meter fire is common during summer in my city and the whole of the province. It's because of the high. Sorry, let me check your. Yeah.
Hmm. So, how
uh,
about human life?
Human life lost. Yeah. And it's yeah, as I said, electric meter fire is common here because of the heat and high use of cooling devices in summer. Because, for example, we have four air conditioner in our house, and there is no way. Of course, energy is cheap here. It's so cheap. And the only advantage we have in our province is low cost of energy, low cost of power, in the whole of our province during the summer. Not more, just the cost of electricity.
But
And
there's no any.
about, yeah, the cost of electricity is lower than the rest of the country. So that's why we can turn on 4 air conditioner here. For
Mm,
example, in Tehran, people, they cannot, because if they, and also, as I said before, more than 70% of power is generated in our province. So we
mm,
access to the power and also the water. But sometimes, yeah, we have a frequent power outage, and it gets us so angry, so tired. The people who live in Afos and Khuzestan province, they are so hot tempered, and so they are so easy offense because of the heat. You know, um,
mm,
uh, or character or personality is influenced by the heat. For example, in the summer, we are so angry, we can't tolerate anything, and maybe, yeah, we like to argue, because, yeah, we get
so
so intolerable. Mhm,
okay, my last question has to do with the heat and the
mhm.
fact that I mean, citizens have become so familiar with this kind of heat. Do you think you can live in any other country, I mean, like Ghana, which doesn't really record such uh, huge figures like yours, or any other country in Europe, like in US or UK? Will it be possible to live in such countries? Um,
You mean for foreign people about living here?
exactly. I mean, I know the heat. I mean, has some other effect
Yeah,
human life and other stuff. I'm
yeah.
asking if you can live in Europe, like other countries in Europe,
Mhm,
with different weather patterns. Will you be able to live there?
mhm.
And do you think you have that plan to travel out to these
Yeah,
places?
yeah.
And
I have traveled. For example, I have traveled to France for participating in a conference in 2019. You know, I got burned in Paris. I'm from Athos, yeah, with temperature about 50, but I got burned because they were not prepared to heat. You know, there wasn't any air conditioner there, any fan. So I got burned, and I can remember maybe I took shower more than 5 times. I said, "Oh my God, such a hell here!"
but what that
you
is
know,
that is exactly what you experienced in Iran. How come you were not able to uh, be able to? I mean, cope with that in Iran, because
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
not
yeah.
to.
Maybe it's really interesting for you, but these days I'm really worried for my cousins who live in London, because they are not prepared. There is not a good infrastructure and facilities to cope the heat. But here we got used to deal with. We stay at home, or maybe we have nightlife, and we do something online. So, and every car has a cooling system, and turn on it. For example, I can't tolerate summer in Tehran because people are not prepared. But here, yeah, we can stay here and we can deal with it. There is we don't go out, And if I go out just with higher taxi, and it's cheap here, but in Tehran, in capital of Iran, no, it's so expensive.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
so yeah, maybe it's really interesting for you. But living here, living in Ahvaz during summer, is easier for me than living in Tehran.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. I'm so grateful for your time. I mean, that was very exciting discussion about the weather patterns in Iran, particularly Khuzestan province. I mean, where Sarah lives. She made some interesting comments about the state where, I mean, life begins in the night. Because of the heat, people cannot actually come out during the day, but in the night they come out to do whatever they want to do. And I'm sure that businesses are being
Sorry,
conducted in the night as
uh,
well.
can I add something? Can I add something? Yeah,
Please go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Imagine I live in a Islamic country, and we are Muslim, and hijab is obligatory for us. And yeah, of course, the life is really difficult for Muslim. Of course, maybe for me, it's really difficult. I don't like to have hijab, but it's obligatory here, and life is more difficult for women who live in Khuzestan province. Believe me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think this has to do, your concerns is also connected to the fact that the heat is very high there, and so people might have that mindset that if you do wear the hijab more, you will be producing more heat. I'm sure there are other like the black you've wear for right you the black shirt you are wearing right now. I'm sure. I mean, we
Mhm.
know based on science, these absorb heat and therefore can easily make your body produce more heat, and that will surely be very difficult for women who, I mean, are using the hijab. There should be a way of, I mean, addressing this. Probably getting better clothes for women so that they cannot, or they wouldn't be able to produce more heat when they wear them. Because as you wear the black right now, you are likely to produce more heat. And mostly people like to wear the black hijab and among others. So I'm sure it's gonna be difficult for women anyway. And so, when are you coming to Ghana?
Sorry.
When are you coming to Ghana?
Oh, I can't hear
I'm I'm
anything, but
I'm
yeah, just I
asking
can see
when.
you are over there. Still over there, but I can't see. I'm really sorry. I don't know what happened.
I'm
Oh, just
asking
noise.
when are you coming to Ghana? When are you coming to Ghana? When are you coming to Ghana? That's what I
Oh,
mean.
oh, Ghana. Yeah, I wanted to say your country, Ghana. It remind me Golden Beach. As far as I have learned about it in my high school and geography subject. Yeah, I have heard about your country, and about local custom, way of living, and about Atewa forest, maybe Atiwa or Atewa forest.
Activa
I have
Forest, yeah.
heard about it. Yeah, I can remember it because I have a good memory. Yeah, and also about scenic and beautiful forest, and also I know you have a very good beach around. I think maybe South Atlantic, yeah, ocean, yeah.
Mm,
Ghana
mm.
is near ocean, And also Ghana remind me cacao producing, so
Yeah,
it's such
yeah.
a such a sweet country, coconut cacao. So maybe one of my dream to visit your country, wildlife, nature, and national parks, because uh, as far as I have heard, yeah, you are so famous and popular national park there. So why not?
We'll be expecting you in Ghana.
Yeah. Okay. I hope maybe someday you invite me, and
Sure,
I will get a chance to visit your country, your impressive tourist sites. Why not?
sure, sure, sure. That's possible.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I'm so grateful for your time. I will keep in
Uh,
touch so that we could do a lot
yeah.
more things. I
Well,
mean, this
of course.
information is very, 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 very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I've read about Iran, and most of the things you said, in fact, I have never heard
Yeah.
about most of
Okay.
them, and I'm
So
so
I
grateful for your
also
time.
I
I
also
would
invite
continue.
you to be here. Maybe I can be your host. The people who live in south of Iran, in Iran, they are so hospitable because because of the heat. Yeah, they are so hospitable. Why not? Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I'm so
Thank,
grateful.
thank you so much.
Yeah,
Have a good
yeah.
day. Bye
All
bye.
right, thank you. All right.